Hello and good evening once again. Thank you for joining us. It's the news tonight with me, Wadulo, Arnold, Mohammed, Mugalu on sign language. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. In our headlines tonight, President Museveni reacts to petition withdrawal. Mayambala advised unprofessional case filing. Minister Kaduchu Inkasese to assess Ebola readiness. And in sports, Uganda AFCON Under-20 enters first ever continental semi-finals. All these in our news tonight. It's an honor and thank you for keeping it here at UBC TV, inspiring Uganda. Now the news in detail. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Electoral Commission and the Attorney General have filed their affidavit in reply to Robert Chagulanyi's application to withdraw the 2021 presidential elections petition. Now, although the respondents don't object to the application, they disagree on some grounds raised by the applicant in withdrawing the petition. Museveni's lawyers have raised several grounds in contestation, as these details share with us.
Wednesday this week, Supreme Court directed all parties in the presidential elections petition of 2021 on their way to go after receiving Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu's application, seeking to withdraw his petition from this court. On this, the respondents in the matter were ordered to make their responses before Saturday, and the applicant Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu to make his rejoinders on Saturday. Following these directives, Friday morning, the respondents in this matter have filed their affidavits in reply to the Office of the Supreme Court Registrar, which were received by Luwangula Henry. President Museveni's affidavits were sworn in by his lawyer Oscar Kihika, presenting 35 grounds to Chagulanyi Ssentamu's application. In the affidavit, President Museveni addressed court on a number of grounds in the application, however accuses Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu for failure to meet court's time as earlier directed, and he also objected to the alleged abductions and kidnaps of the applicant witnesses.
That is what we filed, and we shall await court's decision in respect of the matter. I'm not opposing the application to withdraw, but we've put in some facts to set the record straight. Yes.
According to Osama Sebofu, one of President Museveni's lawyers, although the respondent makes some highlights on some grounds, they don't object to the application.
If he decided to withdraw his case, that is his choice. So for us, we can only follow the law.
How much have you requested as fees for your child?
No, it will be presented before, if that time comes. So by now we will not put anything to do with cost in our affidavit in reply. Thank you.
We shall wait for court's decision about them. But the gist of the reply is that we do not object to the application to withdraw. However, we've put in some facts to set the record straight.
Attorney General, who did not object to the application, his affidavit in reply was sworn in by Counsel Jackson Kafuz, who also clarified to court a number of issues raised by the applicant. On the ground of limited time as alleged by the applicant, Attorney General says time was fixed to allow court to make verdict in the case as per the rules governing this application. They also addressed court on the issue of alleged abductions, arrests of some witnesses. However, Attorney General says witnesses like Betty Namboze Bachirike, the Secretary General for National Unity Platform Louis Lubongeya, their evidence was submitted late in court, yet they were not arrested as the applicant alleges. Attorney General also dismisses allegations of security organs being at offices of the National Unity Platform, saying the applicant did not inform them over this issue. After filing their responses, it has now remained to the discretion of the applicant to file a rejoinder tomorrow Saturday, as elected by this honorable court. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
In more news tonight, the leader of opposition in Parliament, Betty Awolo-Chan, has said that church leaders shouldn't shy away from providing vital solutions to issues facing Ugandans, not excluding politics, corruption, development and reconciliation, among others. Awolo made these remarks while on an official visit to Pastor Robert Kayanja's Miracle Center Cathedral Church to initiate dialogue on several issues in the country. Now, Pastor Robert Kayanja called on politicians to lead by example, serve the interests of the people, and promote unprejudiced politics while in office.
The leader of the opposition in Parliament, Betty Awol Ochan, has commenced an official crusade to engage religious leaders' views on the different issues facing Uganda, such as corruption, youth unemployment, politics, among others, and on how better they can be resolved between the ruling government and the opposition. During her visit to Pastor Robert Kayanja, the leader of the Miracle Center Cathedral, Rubaga, Awol said that the church leaders should be consulted and get involved in all aspects in the country before being implemented. She asserts that grievances among Ugandans will be dealt with amicably once the church leaders present their perspectives to government. Otherwise, to her, on several occasions the church has been excluded on critical decision-making that touch the lives of many, direct or indirectly.
We have always almost ignored or neglected the church, their views in trying to see that Ugandans are served better, the youth are listened to, and their issues are taken up. Issues of social services can be better if we also listen to our church leaders, and we can only be better if we listen to each other.
Pastor Robert Kayanja applauded the delegation for the dialogue and advised politicians to serve the masses diligently and work for the national interests rather than selfish interests coped with partisan political affairs.
From our independence in 1962 up to now, there are embedded hatchets, there are embedded issues that we have never brought up and forgave each other. So they were calling for a dialogue, they were calling for a moment of repentance and asking for forgiveness, and so that we can move on and we can heal as a country.
The leader of opposition and her delegation will continue with their executive courtesy call for dialogues to all religious leaders in pursuit of solutions to address the hiccups affecting the country.
State Minister for Health, Dr. Joyce Moriku Kaduchu, has arrived in Kasese district to assess the situation following reports of hemorrhagic Ebola virus killing 2 Congolese just a few miles away from Uganda-Congo border of Mpondwe district. The 2 deaths occurred in Beni town of eastern DRC, which is a 3-hour drive to the Ugandan border. Let's take a look at these details.
After health authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo and World Health Organization confirmed the first Ebola outbreak early this month, Ugandan authorities have since been on high alert to prevent any possible recurrence of the pandemic. The health screening tent at Mpondwe is the busiest on the border between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. In Uganda, to pass the Mpondwe border crossing point in Kasese, travelers must wash their hands to prevent the spread of the 12th Ebola virus disease outbreak in the DRC. Fortunately, Uganda has not registered any case thanks to the vigilance on its borders. A team from the Ministry of Health, led by the State Minister for Primary Health Care, Dr. Joyce Moriku Kaduchu, alongside Dr. Jackson Amone, Commissioner Clinical Services, and Dr. Araro Charles, Director Curative Services, have arrived in Kasese to assess the situation. Authorities here expressed the need to have a mobile lab stationed at Mpondwe border as cases of forged COVID-19 results from Congo emerge.
Other border points, we tried our best to put the laboratory that is doing very good job, and now it remains for this border post because of the disadvantages. It's right at the border, and there is an issue of Ebola outbreak in the neighboring country, DRC, and of course the point where there is outbreak is not very far from the border point where we are. So that calls for really more attention, and I pledge to the people that we will look at how best to support, even if we cannot put the mobile lab right now, we will see how best the samples can be transported, analyzed, and brought back.
In their support supervision tour, the team also visited health workers at Impondo and Kagando hospitals and commended them for the job well done in containing COVID-19. Dr. Joyce Moriku Kaduchu said medical workers will be among the first beneficiaries of the COVID-19 vaccine once it arrives in Uganda.
Priority will be given for healthcare workers, for security personnel, for teachers, those above 50 years and old, those with comorbidity. So those are the categories of people who will be vaccinated. But immediately after that, another phase, we will vaccinate other categories of people until we reach 60% of population that will be vaccinated in a phased manner.
To Dr. Oraro Charles, their visit will have a positive impact to healthcare services in the region.
To relate with the staff and recognize the great work which they are doing on the aspect of COVID, but also on the aspect of continuity of essential services. The other aspect also is that you are aware of that there has been an outbreak of EVD in a neighboring country. So we need to be able to start to activate our systems to be able to remain vigilant both for EVD, which is Ebola, and then also for COVID. But also, which is the key, is that we need to emphasize that we need to continue with the provision of essential services.
August 2019 is when Uganda last received an imported case of Ebola virus disease from the Democratic Republic of Congo in Kasese district. Uganda has had 4 Ebola virus disease outbreaks in 2000, 2014, 2017 and 2018. The largest and most deadly was in 2000 that registered 425 cases and 224 deaths. Bernard Higa, UBC News.
Political and social commentators in Uganda have called for integration of the African continent as a main solution to challenges facing the continent. Now, Makerere University Don Mwambusia Ndebesa decries what he describes as growing threat of recolonization of Africa, underscoring the need to fight attempted scramble for the continent. Now, this was during the commemoration to mark 125 years of Ethiopian victory against Italians in the year 1896 at the Battle of Adwa that saved Ethiopia from being colonized. More details in the story.
The battles at the time were many, as some Africans attempted to resist colonial rule. Only Ethiopia emerged victorious, defeating Italians at their own game at the Battle of Adwa in 1896. This says a lot about what Africa is capable of doing to protect its own interests and autonomy.
In my village, a man said that a man is never a man every day. You only need to be a man one day, and everybody knows that you are a man. Because you can't keep every day proving that you are a man in the village. No. You need to put somebody down and everybody knows that you are a man. So this battle was one event that told the West that Africa can stand on her own.
The bravery exhibited by Ethiopia and eventually delivering victory against white man's rule is what Africa needs.
What do the young generation get from Adwa to enable us move forward in this neo-colonialism?
And it should continue inspiring the spirit of Pan-Africanism, the pride of Africa in fighting imperialism and fighting recolonization.
And movements like Black Lives Matter must stand up and emphasize African dignity.
The day may be significant to Africa, but what is it that other African countries can learn for future peaceful coexistence and togetherness? The answer is this.
Africa would be vulnerable if it does not integrate, because as a single nation, these countries or as nation states, they are not able to stand up against aggression. we need cooperation in terms of defense. Possibly, there should be a sponsorship at the AU to adopt a resolution that the Adowa, as an important site, be recognized as an African-owned site, and it should be celebrated annually to remind us, to remind the Africans that this was a great historical event that needs to be kept in our minds, and its spirit should be kept alive if Africa is to survive in the 21st century.
The event to commemorate the victory of Adowa was jointly organized by Makerere University in partnership with the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia.
This was inspirational for the entire Pan-Africanism world over.
It is not only the victory of Adowa or the victory of Ethiopia, it is a victory of Africans in the continent, in the diaspora, whom fought colonialism.
To date, the victory of Adowa remains a preeminent symbol of Pan-Africanism, after Ethiopia and Liberia survived white man's rule in Africa. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Uganda's Certificate of Education examinations began this Friday with briefing of candidates. However, in Lira, a company CEO is among the 4,387 candidates registered to do the UCE exams in Lango sub-region. Tony Opio, a proprietor of one of the leading car sales company in Lango, Universal Interlink, is to sit UCE 14 years after dropping out of school. He was briefed together with the 93 others at Lango College in Lira City.
Uganda is set to hold its first national examinations after the education system was dogged by COVID-19. At Lao College, 93 candidates who registered for UCE were briefed together with 54 candidates who registered under Lira Town Hall and are to write their exams at Lao College. Town Hall is a center that provides an opportunity for any citizen who wishes to continue with the studies, register and sit examination, and it is here where Tony Opio, who is the proprietor of Universal Interlink Company Limited, is writing his exams.
I really felt so much challenge in life, given the kind of business that I'm doing. It is an international kind of business, so I meet a lot of people, and I was just like, why can't I go back? I can still make it.
Opio noted that academic background is key to the management of a flourishing business.
Because sometimes you're limited, especially in the departments of accounts. We deal with the money.
Meanwhile, Sami Bobokino, the teacher of Lao College, also the supervisor of all the Lira police station schools, explained that preparing candidates was not an easy task.
I don't expect a very big hurdle, much as it is scientific, apart from the challenge of spacing due to the 2 meters. But all will be well.
Me personally, COVID-19 has affected me because some of the topics are not completed, but our teachers have struggled. But where they have pushed us to is now not all that bad.
However, at Menta Senior Secondary School, one of the excelling private schools in Lira City, 130 candidates were briefed.
So during the lockdown, we were able to teach our students using the EduTele program.
And I'm confident enough that with the information you've given me, I am able to make it and score 8 for 8.
Again, Rotmasi Abel, a candidate at Menta, is optimistic of excelling and advised other school dropouts not to relent.
Some of them have already gotten pregnant. It cannot still stop you from coming back to school after your delivery to come and continue, because education is for all. Maybe you made it by mistake, but you can still make it even if you come back to school.
Senior 4 candidates started their exams this Friday by briefing and will sit physics practical on Monday. Ediolwa, UBC News.
The Minister of State for Primary Healthcare, Dr. Joyce Moriku Kaduchu, has appealed to medical students to put more emphasis on health promotion and disease prevention. Kaduchu says that this helps avoid many preventable diseases killing Africans. Dr. Joyce Kaduchu was officiating at the opening of the 34th Federation of African Medical Students Associations, which is dubbed FAMSA, General Assembly in Mbarara District. The conference, organized under the theme Embracing Technology in Light of Pandemics and Persistent Health Challenges in Rural Africa, was attended by medical students from across Africa. And these are the details.
Challenges that have been taught in child health survival has seen many of our children grown up today into young adults. The strategies have significantly reduced maternal infant mortality, neonatal mortality. We're speaking about immunization, we're speaking about nutrition, we're speaking about water for drinking, clean water, we're speaking about sanitation and hygiene, we're speaking about behavioral preventable lifestyle diseases and the communicable diseases. And I want to call upon each and medical student and challenge you. Let's put a little bit of effort in these preventable diseases. Over 75% of diseases across the African continent are preventable. If we put in place more emphasis on immunization, as we've seen in the case of COVID vaccine, which are almost at the door, and that is the salvage we are all waiting. That is the only remedy that is going to save our people. So I want to challenge all of us to think more about preventable diseases, health promotion, and disease prevention for God and mankind.
This year we're talking about technology for health in Africa. We realize that technology is what advances every other thing in the world, including health. But in Africa, all the technologies advancing health come from different parts of the world. That means as a consumer, we have to always lag behind until the people out there help us out. Take a point in chance, the COVID-19 vaccine. Because we are not the ones who created it, the most we can do is beg for mercies from the other countries that created it so that we can get the vaccine. So here, as medical students, we are discussing how we can change the narrative. Changing the narrative in that us, as medical students, we embrace technology to create things in health right from here in Africa.
1, 2, 3, go!
Changing the narrative, indeed. I'm looking forward to the day I'll anchor in an African print. Moving on, to implement and achieve the Global Sustainable Development Goal 17, the private sector has a valuable role in advancing the agenda. Now it is by providing goods and services, financing socio-economic investments through taxes, and creating innovative solutions to help tackle development challenges. The UN family believes that accelerating the 2030 agenda requires everyone on board. The UN Resident Coordinator, Her Excellency Rosa Malango, says that there is need to create a value chain for different organizations and entities for proper coordination. Let's take a look.
The private sector is recognized as the engine of growth in Uganda, generating over 77% of jobs and 80% GDP, which funds over 60% of the investments. However, access to funds, market and space for production, lack of good skills, especially the youth, is a big challenge. The UN Resident Coordinator, Her Excellency Rosa Malango, says achieving SDG 17 requires full participation and facilitation on the side of government and the UN. Her Excellency Malango was meeting young people and stakeholders to ponder on how to empower the youth in the private sector.
We are having a discussion about value chains right now. So if you have a discussion about value chains, there'll be different type of organizations, entities, or businesses that play different roles. From the farmer all the way to the processor, to the distributor, to getting it to marketing.
You know, you would ask yourself, Africa has all it takes to be
to develop. We have the land, we have the water, we have the sun, we have everything, yet our people are still wallowing in poverty. Why? It means we have to accelerate and we have to redouble our efforts in terms of addressing development challenges.
The Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Media Chambade, via Zoom said the private sector should take advantage of the good environment to advance their scope.
We have Management Training Advisory Center, which has rolled out to regions to be able to train the youth that are up countries through short courses.
On her part, Minister Karoro Okrut explains that the private sector is the agent of change.
This private sector platform has an indispensable role to play. The government therefore welcomes this dynamic engagement and awaits positive outcomes from this meeting.
The Executive Chairman, Equity Group Foundation, Dr. James Mwangi, advised the youth to be patient, be hungry for knowledge, saying that growing in business requires time. He says there is need to reduce interest rates for marginalized groups like the youth and women by half, something UNDP resident representative Els Atafo agrees with.
And therefore, a conversation around today is about trying to see where the opportunities are and where we can go to scale. For example, when the youth, we're providing opportunities, the private sector said, well, the UN can help us with guarantees to de-risk.
The meeting resolved that accelerating the SDGs, private sector need to work with government. They agreed on continuous training and also connect with the rural informal sector. Mutonyi Hilda, UBC.
And that takes us for a short break. When we return, we'll be back with more news tonight, so please do not move an inch.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission. Wait.
No one should stop you from finishing what's yours. That's why MTN gives you data bundles that don't expire. Load MTN Freedom Bundles using My MTN app and enjoy the freedom to finish your data bundles. MTN.
The Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs informs the general public that respective veterans who were mobilized, screened, and told to report at a later date due to COVID-related problems are now advised to report to the following collection centers on Saturday, 27th February 2021. Ready to travel to Peace Support Training Center, Singo, to start mission training. They should carry along with them original national identity card and a UPDF discharge certificate. Central Region, that is Kampala, Mukono, Mpigi, Wachiso, Kiboga, Kayunga and Buyikwe. Meet at Kachiri 1st Division Headquarters. Masaka, meet at Ahmad Brigade Headquarters. Greater Mubende, that is Mubende, Mitiana and Kasanda. Meet at CMRC Barracks, Mubende. Greater Luwero, that is Luwero, Nakaseke and Nakasongola. Meet at Nakasongola Barracks, Moi Brigade. Busoga Region, that is Jinja, Kamuli and Iganga. Meet at Jinja Gaddafi Barracks. Elgon Region, that is Mbale, Budaka, Palisa, Tororo, Busia and Bukedi. Meet at Bugema Barracks, Mbale. Teso Sub-Region, that is all Teso Region districts. Meet at Soroti Barracks. Karamoja Sub-Region, all Karamoja Region districts. Meet at Moroto Barracks. Acholi Region, East Aswa, that is all districts east of Aswa River. Meet at Acholi P 5th Division Headquarters Barracks. Acholi Region, West Aswa, all districts west of Aswa River. Meet at Gulu Barracks, 4th Division Headquarters. Lango Region, all districts of Lango. Meet at Lira Barracks. West Nile, all West Nile districts. Meet at 409 Brigade Headquarters Barracks. Western Region, that is Mbarara, Chiruhura, Ibanda, Isingiro, Bushenyi, Rwampara, Rukunjiri, Kabale, Chisoro, Kanungu, and Buhweju. Meet at 2nd Division Headquarters, Mbarara. Rwenzori Region, that is Kasese, Fort Poto, Bundibujo, Kenjojo, and Kamwenge. Meet at Muhoti Barracks, MTN Division Headquarters. Bunyoro Region, that is Hoima, Masindi, Kibale, Kakumiro, Kagadi, Chikuvi, and Chiriandongo. Meet at Masindi Barracks, 3rd Division Headquarters. For more details, inquire from reserve commanders in your respective districts.
Your safety while using electricity starts with having a certified technician to wire your premises. Do not use Camille
socket. Chisaka, now that the wiring is complete, how do I get power?
No, I'll get you power in my own way. And you don't even have to worry about the bills. I'll bring them myself. Is your neighbor there?
She went to work.
Does she have power?
Yes, she has.
If your neighbor has power, you have power.
Desist from illegal connections because they are not only dangerous but could lead to prosecution and death.
Chisaka, what is this? Oh my God, I'm from Umeme.
I did not say Umeme. I am from Umeme.
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
Welcome back, and it's now time for business, so let's get straight into it. The State Minister for Culture, Peace Mutuzo, has challenged young entrepreneurs to consult the writings of successful business experts if they are to benefit from the different government programs of wealth creation. Minister Mutuzo was launching a masterpiece on successful entrepreneurs authored by Damali Sali. In this book, titled Ideation Corner, it profiles successful entrepreneurs to inspire young generations. Let's take a look.
SBN. So the government of Uganda, through Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, has initiated different projects to stimulate the productivity of young people. While launching Ideation Corner piece of writing, the State Minister for Culture, Honorable Peace Mutuzo, encouraged young people to research before implementing development ideas.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Minister Mutuzo acknowledged there are some government failed projects that are supposed to uplift lives of young people.
Let's not only look at big capital ventures. And many young people received some money and did not pay back to government. I'm sure you all know about Youth Level Fund. They are repaying but slowly because they started with capital. But we have to start with the mindset change. We have to start small and grow bigger, like Damar is making us proud right now.
Ideation Corner is authored by Damar Sali, targeting the young generation to alter their minds towards development. The content is a documentation of successful entrepreneurs aimed at inspiring generational investors.
4 out of every 10 people are employed. So it means that we need to do a lot of our own entrepreneurship, create our own jobs. But to do so, we also need to learn from the people who've done it so that everyone doesn't make the same mistake. And we've seen that in other countries in the developed world, in the Western world, they always document the stories of those people who are entrepreneurs. This is how then the next generation doesn't make the same mistakes that the other generation made. And I thought it's important that we start doing that. That's why, in fact, I documented them.
Meanwhile, experts attributed the failure to have many indigenous investors to limited financial literacy and investment skills among the country's business community. Abdul Nasser, Lubwama.
And now into innovation. The director of Chira Motors, Alan Muhumuza, says that Chira Motors motor plant will produce 5,000 vehicles every year with a capacity of delivering 22 vehicles to the Ugandan market on a daily basis. Muhumuza made the remarks while on a sensitization and empowerment drive of students in different schools in eastern Uganda who in the long run will be interested in joining Chira Motors manufacturing plant as motor mechanics, design and electro engineers. Details in this report.
And today we are here today we are here at Horizon International School to inspire the future generation of leaders and innovators in the country and show them what the possibilities are to realize our mandate of building the automotive industry in Uganda. Given our history, where we started off as an extracurricular activity at Makerere University, we hold dear the fact that our education institutions are key in realizing Vision 2040 towards industrialization and economic development, of which Chira Motors is a participator towards realizing. These young people, we have taken them through to understand, what does it mean to make a car, what is involved in the process of making a car, what should they aspire to be if they want to participate in the process of making a car, not just from the engineering point of view, but also the support, because you still need people in operations, you need administrators, you need human resource personnel, you need financing experts, beyond the engineers, you need designers, you need marketing and sales people. So there's a broad spectrum of the opportunities that present themselves.
Now, as more small and medium enterprises adopt online marketing, the growing access to the internet is opening up e-commerce employment opportunities for the youth in Uganda. Now, I met up with Alex Isoba, a 27-year-old independent e-sales consultant who is tapping into numerous opportunities in the e-commerce platforms to improve his livelihood. Let's take a look.
As he looks over the pictures of his home construction project in Mafubira sub-county, Jinja district, Alex takes us back when he took on an e-commerce sales consultancy at Junior Uganda.
In Uganda, we are just developing. E-commerce is growing, but it is growing at a very rapid rate. So for now, I can't say we have reached somewhere, and I can't say we are still low, but we are somewhere. Because I see people are positively adjusting to e-commerce, and each and every day you find new people having websites, you find people marketing their goods and services over the internet. So we are reaching somewhere, and with time we shall have the best of it.
E-commerce is a business model that lets companies or individuals buy and sell goods, products or services globally over the internet. E-commerce is rapidly growing, and Uganda is expected to shortly become the second largest online market in East Africa after Kenya.
We have people who are on social media, so they really need help looking for products. People are very busy in their offices, so sometimes they're on social media, sometimes they're on commerce platforms like Gigi, the former OLX. So what you do is to post adverts, and where necessarily you boost them. So that's where customers come from.
However, due to the absence of specific e-commerce regulations, the risks trading online still scare some users.
It's a question of competence, but this is a new field.
And you can't expect a 45-year-old to understand it as much as a 25-year-old who has been interacting with these figures for like 5 years. So we could say there is a certain knowledge gap in the people responsible for making policy decisions for ICT, which is understandable. We are all moving into new territory here. Some of the applications that people are developing do not have an existing legal framework to back their regulation.
But this pessimism hasn't deterred the risk takers like Alex, who believes in efficiency of online transactions.
So there are many fraudsters online who will call you and they would want to deliver to them, but in the essence they want to grab something from you. Maybe you go with a product, they take it to somewhere where there are no people, and later they want to steal something from you.
As of January 2020, internet users in Uganda were recorded to be over 17 million, nearly a third of Uganda's estimated 45 million people.
Now here in Uganda, an economy that takes a bit of its time, we should probably understand that there is going to be a very big knowledge gap for the entrepreneurs themselves, the people participating in technology. So there is a very serious need for mentorship.
The potential for young Ugandans like Alex is a national prospect due to the large youth numbers that can provide efficient e-consultancy labor for the country. If favorable policies are enacted, it will be prudent that government and private sector-led innovators collaborate to create a robust e-commerce sector. Wadulo Arnold for UBC News in Kampala.
And now on the international scene, coronavirus pandemic is a challenge that calls for far beyond testing, quarantining and treating people in a medical system unused to the epidemic on such a scale. The dangers that coronavirus will be spread to garbage collectors and others if waste that they may carry the infection is not handled properly. In China, one mega city, the South is exploring environmental friendly ways to dispose mountains of clinical waste, including masks that have to be properly disposed of. Let's take a look at how they're managing it.
Surgical face masks have become a symbol of the times. But take a closer look inside these baby blue rectangles. The melt-blown fiber that serves as an air filter can be deadly to wildlife. One environmental group has gone as far as saying 1.5 billion face masks ended up in the world's oceans last year as a result of littering and waste management issues. But while the scientists we spoke to say that number is a huge exaggeration, they also acknowledge the dangers of increasing plastic pollution.
The plastics can only be degraded up to 400 to 500 years. So once they enter the marine environment, organisms will take them as food. And all these plastics will be stuck in the digestion tracts, and it would be harmful to them.
The solution has to start from land, where 80% of the litter that makes it into the ocean comes from. When recycling isn't possible, one way to get rid of plastic is to burn it. In Guangzhou, this facility does that on an industrial scale, without creating more pollution.
Under 1,000 degrees Celsius, the plastics completely decompose. Our emissions meet national and EU environmental standards. Currently, 70% of Guangzhou's household trash is burnt and 30% is buried. By 2022, none of it would need to go to a landfill.
That's a tall order for a city of 20 million people, but not if everybody plays their part. This housing block uses a smart sorting machine for household waste and a special bin for masks.
So the recycling garbage disposal is very high tech. It's quite interesting. I know that you can get points from it. I'm not sure what the points are used for, but if there's a benefit, shorthand benefit, it gets people cooperating a lot more.
The initiative has drastically reduced non-recyclable waste. The points for participating can be converted into online shopping discounts. But the ultimate reward? A healthy planet that will define our future long after the pandemic is over.
5 South Sudanese parties signed the revitalized agreement on the resolution to the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan in September 2018, putting the conflict in South Sudan to an end. Now in February 2021, it is 1 year since the formation of the revitalized transitional government of national unity. In the assessment of the reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, which is the official body mandated to monitor and evaluate the implementation of the RACs, we can say that the pace of the implementation has been slow. Let's take a look.
A peace deal signed in 2018 by 5 groups dictates that a new government comprising all groups be formed to run for 3 years from 2019. But delays in completing unification of the various armed groups meant formation of the new unity government only began in 2020. Disagreements over who should take which political positions followed, and up to now, some states still have no governments. The parliament is yet to be reconstituted. However, South Sudan's government says total peace will soon return to the country.
We are moving forward, but with those achievements like formation of the state government that you have seen, the formation of the national executive, and the cantonment of forces, the training of forces.
In South Sudan's capital, Juba, life is returning to normal for many after years of civil war, but some are concerned about the peace process.
Implementation has been slow. Since the signing of the peace agreement in 2018, South Sudanese become happy. They expect they will join a new life, but unfortunately they have been disappointed by the parties to the revitalized peace agreement, simply because there is no trust among themselves.
All of us, government and we citizens, we are part of this agreement. And if we are part of this agreement should not be owned by politicians only, neither should be owned by citizens only. But through our collaboration together, we can shape this country forward as we want.
The 2018 peace agreement provides for a permanent constitution-making process, which is also yet to be completed. The reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, a body mandated to monitor the implementation of the South Sudan's peace deal, says the silencing of the guns is the major achievement of the 2018 peace deal. However, South Sudan's government warns that unless the unified forces that came from various armed groups are redeployed, the situation will remain volatile.
Until today, we have 2 forces under 2 different commands, and that is risky. You need to have 1 army in the country under 1 commander-in-chief to maintain, to keep the gun silence and maintain this permanent ceasefire.
The government says it lacks funds to facilitate graduation of trained forces and their redeployment. Lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic is causing more delays, making many here lose hope of lasting peace returning to the country soon.
In the world of sports, Uganda's under-20 side, the Hippos, needed penalties to dislodge Burkina Faso for a place in the semi-finals at the ongoing under-20 Africa Cup of Nations tournament in Mauritania. With the game scoreless after normal and extra time, the youngsters kept their nerves in the post-match penalties, during which goalkeeper Jack Komakech saved Yakub Jiga's kick to set the tonic for a 5-3 victory. Now Uganda will at the semi-final stage next week play either Tunisia or Morocco. Delegation head Rogers Mulindwa explains what likely helped the team to excel thus and what the future holds.
The team keeps looking better even after the other game. And our technical bench has also been very fast in picking up lessons and passing the knowledge on to the players. The last two training sessions, the technical bench dwelt more on penalties, on how best we can avoid unnecessary cautions, on speed. And I think the players understood them very well. You must have noticed that our speed in this match against Burkina Faso was far better than Mozambique. Okay? And we also tried to avoid cautions. We are still, I think, we could be the best team that has not picked up so many yellow cards in this tournament. But also the penalties, you saw that the boys were so confident on the ball. Yeah? The goalkeeper would try, the Burkina Faso goalkeeper would try to intimidate, but do what? But they were so confident, and that was not something we could take lightly. But we also had an opportunity for the FA president to talk to the players on Zoom, and that was a very perfect inspiration talk. Self-belief, believe in yourselves, get to know that you are among the best on the continent. And he told them once you do that, you'll be in the semis. They demonstrated it. Burkina Faso came thinking we're underdogs in this tournament, but the boys kept doing better. So we have really done our best, but still we can do better in the semi-final. We are going to the semi-final when we have played 4 matches, and of the 4 matches we have conceded 2 goals, we have scored 4, so we are at +2. That's very positive. And we shall keep working harder, no matter who comes, whether it's Mozambique, Morocco, or it's Tunisia. I think we are at that level now. For to be among the best 4 teams on the continent, it's not something light. If it's World Cup, then we are there.
And that brings us to the end of our news tonight, this evening, 26th day of 2021. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, Mohammed Mugalu, and we sign out saying good night.
Brought to you by At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
You're welcome. Here is the weather forecast from the Weather Center with the Semper Alex Kim. The Lake Victoria Basin woke up to a lot of fog. Now, this fog in particular was formed by warm but moist winds that came in from Lake Victoria and encountered very cold conditions over land, and that resulted into the fog. Now, fog is basically a cloud that touches the ground or the surface, and it has implications of negatively impacting the clear visual range, affecting the transport sector, especially aviation. Tomorrow, we do expect sunny intervals across most parts of the country, apart from areas along the Lake Victoria Basin, which we do expect to receive some light isolated rainfall. In the afternoon, we do expect this to develop into thundering showers, especially in parts of Mubende. However, the rest of the country is expected to hang on to sunny intervals, and because of this, we do expect temperatures to rise to 31 degrees Celsius. That will be across Karamoja region. 27 in Kampala, and in Kabale Highlands we are forecasting 23 degrees centigrade. And elsewhere across the globe we are forecasting some chances of rainfall. That will be in New York at a daytime high of only 7 degrees centigrade, whereas Dubai is expected to be bright and sunny at a daytime high of 25 degrees centigrade. With that, we conclude it. Stay tuned and join us again tomorrow same time.
Brought to you by At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
this weekend on UBC.
Well, let's get started.
Let's do it.
Wow, that's how you start? Okay.
Yes, I start with the peel.
Okay.
Can you help me for cut some vegetable?
Yes. No. This is exciting. I feel like I'm a professional chef already. So we're gonna start with the steak.
Okay.
It's soft, it's tender, easy for me to cut through.
Okay.
I mean, for us to have prepared it in such a short time and it being that easy
I
to
know,
cut.
it was so quick, huh?
Here we go.
So quick.
Oh my goodness.
But it tastes so delicious.